Good morning, I'm Matt Tenaya John, and welcome to the May meeting of the Local Planning Agency, to the Local Planning Agency Board meeting for Pinellas County, Florida. Today's public hearing of the Local Planning Agency, or LPA, is being held to review zoning requests, land use plan amendment requests, and other items relative to the county's planning and growth management program. The Local Planning Agency is an independent advisory board charged with reviewing and making recommendations to the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners in cases that will be heard today. The Board of County Commissioners will make the final decision on each case at a separate public hearing currently scheduled to be held on June the 11th, 2024, 9:30 a.m. Any cases needing 2 hearings before the Board of County Commissioners will be announced. For our procedure today, staff will make a brief presentation not to exceed 20 minutes. The applicant will then make a presentation, again not to exceed 20 minutes. After that, we will hear from proponents who will have 3 minutes each, unless representing a group of 5 or more, in which case they'll be given 10 minutes. In order to get the 10 minutes, non-speakers must be present and waive their time. Then we will hear from opponents, who likewise will receive 3 minutes each, unless representing a group of 5 or more, in which case they will have 10 minutes. Non-speakers will also have to be present and waive their time in order for the 10 minutes. Finally, the applicant will be given an opportunity to close, answer any questions, or respond to any concerns raised by the opponents or proponents for a period of time not to exceed 5 minutes. Before your presentation, please give your name and address for the record. All testimony needs to be under oath, so if you have not been sworn in already and you plan to testify, please rise now and be sworn. Do we have anyone in the... Okay, I'm seeing none. Also, please fill out the slip on the table and present it to the clerk before you speak. There'll be no continuing rebuttal, so please try to present all information and concerns while you are at the podium. If you plan to provide letters, written comments, studies, or other documents in response to the LPA's findings and recommendations, those must be received in the Planning Department 15 days prior to the Board of County Commissioners meeting in order to be included with the record that will be transmitted to the Board of County Commissioners. Also, please take note that the Board of County Commissioners hearings are now being held at 333 Chestnut Street in the Palm Room until further notice. So with that, we will go into the agenda.
Madam Chair, we do have applicants online. Do they need to be sworn in?
Yes, they do.
And I do have a short quasi-judicial statement that I'll read real quick, just for the record, because we do have at least one case that will be heard today, I believe. The zoning matters heard by the local planning agency are quasi-judicial in nature. Please note that only competent, substantial, fact-based testimony or evidence may be considered by the board in deciding the matters before it. Pure speculation or opinion, not based on competent facts, cannot be legally considered by the board. Lay testimony with fact-based support, including but not limited to meeting minutes, surveys, engineering reports, etc., may be considered competent and substantial evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Council McAteer. Ms. Cord, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Clerk, would you please swear in our online participants?
Zoom participants, if you can, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
All right. So our next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the April 10th, 2024 LPA meeting. Do we have any discussion on the minutes as published? And it does not appear that we have any. So with that, I will entertain a motion.
Move approval of the minutes.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion passes unanimously. All right, we'll now move into item 4A1, and this is FLU 2024-01. And we also have another case, ZON 24-01, that appears to be at the same property. Are those presentations going to be combined, Ms. Cord?
Madam Chair, at the request of the representative for this case, they would request a deferral to the next LPA hearing, which would be on June 12th.
All right.
Yeah, and I believe we have them online. They're requesting a
Yes.
continuous to a date certain for each item.
All right.
I think we're here, so if you take in, if we're first in your meeting, I should be able to take care of it today.
What?
Wait, what? They're not requesting continuance?
There was, I guess I need clarification. I had received an email earlier this week or late last week that was a request for a deferral to the next LPA hearing.
That is correct, and that was by me. I am the engineer of record. Actually, the owner was going to be present. I don't know if he's present right now. I'm texting him, but I was able to make it to this at this time. I didn't know if we were going to be able to be available. But if you want to defer, it's fine. Or if you want to take it right now, and it's up to you.
Hi, Molly, this is Guy. I just want to let you know I do see Jose and Angel. They're both the applicants for the first two items on the agenda. And we do also have another participant online that was going to be speaking against this. So everybody is present online right now.
All right.
Do we have the presentation to queue up?
Pete, can you queue up the presentation, please?
Good morning, Scott Swearingen, Long Range Planning Manager for Pinellas County. It's a pleasure to be before you. I respect your time. I have no mouse, but I will use it.
I don't think the microphone's hot.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I can speak up louder. So we have companion cases before you this morning. One is a future land use map amendment. The other is a zoning atlas amendment, FLU 2401 and ZON 2401. The subject property is about 0.15 acres in size, and it's located in Leoman at 2520 55th Avenue North. The current land use designation on the property is RL Residential Low, and the request is to go to Commercial General, CG. On the zoning atlas side of the case, the property is R4 Residential, which is 1, 2, and 3 family residential, and the proposal is to go to C2 General Commercial and Services, which is it's a supporting zoning for that land use, for that CG land use. There is also a variance request included as well, which I might ask for Ms. Cord's assistance as we go along with that, pertaining to lot width and to lot size. The existing use of the property is a single-family residences on the property, and the proposed use is to convert that residence into office. This shows you the subject property. You can see I-275 kind of just to your right of it, to the east of the property, 54th Avenue North. Is a main roadway just to the south of the subject property. The current future land use, you can see that it's residential. It's kind of the one parcel within that entire block that remains as residential today, and then it would be converted by this request, if it were so approved, to a commercial general, and then the entire block would be commercial general for that. And likewise with the zoning, that's the R4 zoning. You can see the zoning, categories around that area as well. The entire block that it is on is zoned for the commercial designation, and then making that change would make the entire block in the commercial category as well. This C2 commercial. This is a photo of the site looking south from 55th directly onto the subject property. And you can see kind of looking, this is on 55th as well, so the photo on your left looking to the west and then to the east. And you can see kind of, the subject property and then some of the properties across the street. So the current residential low land use designation allows for residential, institutional, transportation utility and sort of ancillary non-residential recreation open space type uses. Primarily residential though is really kind of the gist of that category. And up to 5 residential dwelling units per acre and a 0.4 floor area ratio for non-residential uses. And then changing that to the CG commercial general land use would allow us to, a major variety really of land uses with a focus on that kind of residential commercial land uses, and up to 24 residential dwelling units per acre and a 0.55 FAR for non-residential uses. Again, this property is 0.15 acres in size. And then when we go to the zoning, so the current zoning, as you would imagine, for the R4, as you know, single-family detached, also some attached single-family residential as well, duplexes, triplexes, that kind of thing are generally permitted, and a maximum building height of 35 feet. And that proposed change to C2 commercial, again, allows for a variety of uses, mostly focusing on retail, commercial, office, those types of uses, business uses, and intended to be located within commercial nodes along certain corridors. In transition areas for more intensive uses is kind of the intent of the C2 when you look at the zoning, the purpose and intent that's in the zoning code. And it will allow the office as a primary use. So the applicant desires to convert this to office, and that district would allow by right the use of office, and it would also be within the land use and the zoning would be compatible with the rest of the uses on the block. Although as you saw across the street and deeper into the neighborhoods, we have more residential land use zoning and character as well. One thing to note is that the Leelman Form-Based Code went into effect on May 2nd, so last week, and this property is not included in the Leelman Form-Based Code. So its change would not be, that would not be a concern really for the subject property itself, but we did want to give you some context as what is changing around the property. And so what you see in orange is what's called the Commerce District, and those property, and we've been through the Leelman Form-Based Code probably a few times now, and so that's the Commerce District that would be there, and the purple kind of just to the southeast is a neighborhood park district. I just want to let you know that that change is taking place. Properties, and so just to add to that, properties within the Leelman Form-Based Code district, they are allowed up to 3 months in order to carry over their current land use and zoning designation. So they don't have to be within that district yet. They have 3 months to sort of, work their way into those districts. But I just wanted to let you know just that this is adjacent and abutting the Leelman Form-Based Code district. So again, as I mentioned, there's an additional change that's necessary, a variance that's tied to the zoning, and that pertains to the minimum lot area requirement. The property, 0.15 acres, it's already platted. It's a parcel that's existing there, and it does not conform to the minimum lot area requirements. So again, established, and that comes out to be like 6,420 square feet, 10,000 feet. Yes, 10,000 feet, I believe, is the minimum lot size in the district. Lot width as well is also controlled by zoning, which is 80 feet, and it's only 60 feet in width currently. The Development Review Committee had no objections to this. Again, it's a lot that's already been platted, long been platted, doesn't meet the current zoning. They had no objections to this being a variance tied to the zoning. Property owners within 300 feet of the subject property were sent notice. We have not received correspondence until I believe 2 days ago. We had an email correspondence that was received. Someone objecting to the request, noting that and it's basically around traffic congestion, noise, and potential toxic chemicals from damaged vehicles. And our council can speak to which one of those, if any or all of those, would be germane to this board's, evaluation and consideration in making a decision. And so, in summary, proposed recommendation for residential low to commercial general, traffic impacts, and this is again, and I like to say, this is kind of at like the 20,000 foot level traffic impacts. This is looking at land use. It's not looking at what's actually going to happen on the ground. So when plans come in, actual development plans come in, those actual traffic impacts are evaluated. But from a future land use standpoint, which is important to review as well, 55 additional trips generated is what the traffic impact analysis shows. This allows the site to be redeveloped in a more appropriate manner for its surrounding land uses. Those surrounding uses are primarily kind of heavy commercial, light industrial type of uses. It's consistent with our comprehensive plan for sure, and a density increase of 24 units per acre is noted. Again, the property is 0.15 acres in size. Our Development Review Committee recommended approval of this project. And pivoting to the zoning, the companion case, the surrounding area, it's a wide range of uses, commercial, office, residential, directly to the east, south, which this property would serve is in that kind of like heavier commercial, retail type uses. It would allow for the conversion of a single family home into an office. A large portion of the area surrounding is within aluminum form-based code. Just to kind of note that would allow retail, commercial, mixed type uses as well. It's not within the coastal high hazard area of the subject property, consistent with our comprehensive plan, and it would bring this redevelopment and related improvements into the CRA. So it's a redevelopment project within the Leland CRA. We always take note of that in reviewing the CRA plan. And likewise, the Development Review Committee recommended approval of this project, and it is scheduled currently for a Board of County Commissioners meeting, a public hearing that is, on June 11th, and that would be a morning meeting, by the way. That would be a 9:30 a.m. meeting. We typically do 6 p.m., but this one would be a 9:30 morning meeting. That's what I've got. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Swearingen. Board members, do you have any questions for staff at this time? Would appear not. Council McAteer, do you have anything to add yet?
No. I mean, as far as, it sounded like, Scott, maybe there's some code compliance items on the site, but as far as common substantial evidence items, really, the standard is what it is, but then the board decides whether or not, I can't tell you on an itemized basis what is or isn't common substantial evidence. I present the standard, and then you weigh based on the standard, and the board decides, which is why I'm not doing it by myself, so that's why we've got y'all.
Understood. All right. Well, thank you very much, and at this time, we will hear from the applicant.
Yes, hi. My name is Angel Rivera. I'm the engineer of record. The presentation was pretty much,
Please state your address
detailed.
as well, please.
My address, 14164 Stilton Street, Tampa, Florida, 33626.
Thank you.
So the presentation was very detailed. So the only thing I need to add is for you guys to make sure that you understand that the property owner owns the adjacent property, and this office is to service the commercial property adjacent. So there is an existing office in that property adjacent, and it's just going to be technically relocated. So there shouldn't be an increase in traffic or impact to the area.
Understood. Is there
That's the only
anything?
thing I need to add, yeah.
Okay. And do you have a map showing the adjacent property, just for the
I
benefit of the board?
think you can see it from the zoning maps, and if you pull them back, it will be the property to the east.
Pete, can you pull up the present? Thank you. Can you move it for me, or by chance, or? Okay.
Yep, there it goes.
All right, thank you.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
I apologize for the size of this. So it would be to your right,
East.
to the
Yeah,
east,
to the right.
and directly to the south. And I apologize for not bringing that up in my presentation. That is what, those are adjacent properties that is part of the property owner's holdings.
Scott, is that one parcel that wraps around to the east and the south?
Yes, it's kind of an L,
Yes.
like a dog. yeah.
One key number?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Correct.
to the east and to the south.
All right.
I have a question for Scott.
Go ahead.
Scott,
Yes, sir.
since the applicant owns the adjacent property to the east and to the south, was there any discussion about incorporating this subject parcel into the main parcel so a variance wouldn't be required?
There was some initial discussion, and again, so the property that property, which is to the east and the south, will be part of the Leoman Form-Based Code. There was some discussion early on about that. The applicant decided to go ahead and move forward with their request. I would have to defer to the applicant as far as the reasoning behind not combining
Yes,
the two.
I can explain. The reason behind it is that the property in question now for the rezoning actually has a mortgage on it, and it cannot be tied or joined to the other property at this moment. Once it's paid off, then they can be joined, and that is the intention. But that is 3 years from now, when the mortgage is fully paid. The bank will not allow joining properties while they hold the mortgage.
Thank you. So with that being said, can the variance be conditioned that when this transpires, they can be incorporated into, well, it would have to go into the Leoman Form-Based Code thing also? Would they are they recommended to join that or not?
They have not been recommended to join it. We have not made a recommendation to that regard. You're asking if pardon me, Mr. Coy, but could the variance have a condition, that it be combined at a certain date?
In the near future?
I would have to defer to counsel.
I would advise against that because you're basically, you'd be forecasting a future quasi-judicial act, if that makes any sense. So the cart would be in front of the horse at that point. It would just need to come back through for probably what would be a pretty straightforward, unless something changes on the circumstances, variance application. I'm not sorry, here I go. Rezoning application, but I would hold off on adding too many segments to this particular application at this time.
And I would add to that it would also require a future land use map amendment as well.
Yeah.
So it would require
So
both
it's a
actions.
legislative act, so
Yes.
you can't combine those either, so.
Oh,
yeah.
that's true, yeah. Good.
That also sounds like something that would be more the province of the BOA, since they're handling the variance.
And what is the use on the adjacent property to the east?
It is, there's a tow yard, some vehicle repair, so it's kind of more heavy commercial to the east, and that property, again, is kind of wraps it around, so up to a 54th, so it's, but that's the use.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Board members, do you have any other questions for the applicant? All right, doesn't look like we have any. All right, stay nearby. We will now hear from proponents. Is there anybody in the public who would wish to speak in support of applications FLU 24-01 or ZON 24-01? All right, I'm not seeing anyone in the room. Is there anyone online?
Good morning, Madam Chair. There is nobody online to speak in support besides the applicants. We do have one person online to speak against.
And that'll take me to my next step. Anyone in the room wishes to speak in opposition to applications FLU 24-01 or ZON 24-01? And I'm seeing none, so let's go to online.
We have Robert Lustumo here to speak on this.
All right. If you would, please state your name and address before starting.
Robert, you might have to unmute yourself. I don't seem to have the ability.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Thank you. Robert Lostimo. I own the property directly across 2511 55th Avenue North. I've owned the property since 2005. When I purchased the property, there was no heavy equipment, no towing or wrecking service there. And since they've come in, it's added a lot of noise, a lot of congestion, not because there's 55 more vehicles or whatever, they're large trucks, sometimes 18-wheelers. I've actually seen 18-wheelers parked right on the street. This is a very small street, has very tight turns. It's very awkward when there's large vehicles coming in and out of there. When it was a neighborhood, it was, just like any other neighborhood. It's, a lot of people walking to the convenience stores and whatnot. So it's been a big change and not a favorable one. Of course, I concerned about, other property value. There's a lot of investment going on in that neighborhood right now. There was a new house built right behind me, one right across the street from that. It's an up and coming neighborhood. I don't know why we want to commercialize it.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, yeah, there is one other thing that might serve both of us, the neighborhood and the company. And that is to open up access, rather than snaking through the neighborhood, right on 54th Avenue. And just leave, the backside, little trees and fence or something like that, so it doesn't, impact the neighborhood.
All right. For what it's worth, you still have another minute if there's any final remarks that you have. Okay. Board members, do you have any questions for our citizen? All right. Thank you for your time this morning. All right, do we have anyone else online who wishes to speak in opposition to applications FLU 24-01 or ZON 24-01?
No additional online.
All right. That brings us back to the applicant.
Yes. So in response to the person opposing the project, I just want to make sure that the board understands that all the comments are about the adjacent property, not the property in question right now for rezoning and FLU amendment. So technically, none of those comments really apply, especially the one as to provide access to the back of the property, because that would be, our house will be having direct, is abutting a lot, not the actual street or road. So that's impossible. That all those comments are referred to the existing commercial property. And all we're doing is requesting an infill to make sure that the whole block is commercial.
Understood. Do you have anything else you wish to add?
Not at this moment, other than, like I said, this is just an infill. And if you look at the whole block, I think our property would be percentage-wise, maybe adding 10% commercial to the whole block.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Board members, do you have any questions for the applicant or staff? All right. One thing I do have, Ms. Cord, would you please put Mr. Lostimo in contact with the roads department?
Sure. Regarding the access?
Just regarding those residential streets as you get further north.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot of site plan related issues that I'm hearing. That's the province of the DRC as far as access and whether that makes sense relative to things like intersections. But he made mention of semi-trucks possibly going up in the back streets.
Sure.
And that's the province of the road department, but let's at least put Mr. Lostimo in contact with him.
I can get them in touch with Public Works, so I can do that.
Perfect. All right. Other than that, unless the board has any final discussion or questions, I will entertain a motion on FLU 24-01.
Move approval of FLU 24-01. I believe the request is consistent with the county's future land use map for that area, and therefore I concur with staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Cueva, second by Cooley. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. The motion passes unanimously. All right, and now I'll entertain a motion on ZON 24-01.
Move approval?
Motion by Cueva,
Second?
second by Cataldo. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. The motion passes unanimously. All right. Now we move on to item 4A3, ZON 24-02.
The clicker. Thank you.
You want me to go again?
No, I wouldn't do that to you. Thank you so much.
Proceed when ready.
Okay. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Molly Cord on behalf of BDRS. The applicant is Tuck Tree Cow. This is a request for a zoning change from LO Limited Office to R3 Single Family Residential. The site is approximately 0.29 acres and it's located at 4940 41st Avenue North in Lealman. The property is, the subject property before you, it's reflected on this slide. It is approximately 150 feet away from 49th Street, a minor arterial roadway. Property is currently developed with a medical office building and is designated as Residential Office Limited, or ROL, on the future land use map. And it is zoned LO, again for limited office. And that's depicted in blue on the map to your left. The applicant is requesting a zoning change for this property to R3, single-family residential, to allow for the construction of 2 single-family homes. The R3 zoning district is it's on the map to the right, and it's depicted in yellow. Again, the subject property is designated as Residential Office Limited on the future land use map, which allows residential at 7.5 units per acre and limited office use. No change is proposed to the future land use map. Regarding the site's zoning history, the subject property was formerly zoned R3 single-family residential. The previous property owner had successfully rezoned to P1A, today known as the Limited Office Zoning District. Additionally, they had pursued a future land use amendment from residential low to residential office limited. This land use action took place back in 1993. And again, what you're seeing in this slide, this is the old zoning atlas map that's located at our office, just reflecting the change from R3 to P1A. The immediate area contains a variety of uses. To the north is a daycare, which is depicted in the picture to the right. To the east is a self-service car wash, and to the south and west are detached single-family homes. Additionally, the subject site is not in a coastal storm area and has a low flood risk. The owner wishes to have the ability to utilize the property for residential purposes. However, the LO zoning district does not allow residential uses, which includes your single-family, duplexes, triplexes, or multifamily development. The LO zoning district is intended to provide for areas of low-intensity office uses. This is your bank, your medical office, your general office, or veterinary office. The maximum building height in the LO zoning district is 45 feet. The proposed R3 zoning amendment, again, R3 single-family residential, would allow single-family detached development. The zoning district also allows limited non-residential uses. This would be a place of worship, a daycare, a private school, fraternal club with a Type 2 use approval from the Board of Adjustment and Appeals. That's a public hearing process in order to have that type of land use activity on this property. The R3 zoning district does not allow retail/commercial, personal services, or office space uses. Additionally, the maximum building height within this zoning district would be 35 feet. And to reiterate, no change is being requested for the site's future land use map as it allows residential use. The applicant has indicated a desire to split the property back to its original platted lots of record and construct one detached single-family home on each lot. Although the lot width, once split, would be considered substandard in the R3 zoning district, the Land Development Code allows platted, non-conforming residential lots, one dwelling unit. Note the minimum lot area and the depth would be met for each lot if split and successfully rezoned to the R3 zoning district. R3 zoning requires a minimum lot area of 6,000 square feet, a minimum lot width of 60 feet, and a minimum lot depth of 80 feet. As required by Florida statute, we did notice the surrounding property owners within 300 feet of the subject property, and no correspondence has been received. Staff is of the opinion that the proposed zoning atlas amendment to R3 is appropriate for the subject property for the following reasons. The proposed request appears to be compatible at a density and scale with the surrounding residential development pattern in the area. The subject property is not within the coastal high hazard area. Additionally, the amendment would be consistent with the Pinellas County Comprehensive Plan. In conclusion, the Development Review Committee recommended approval, and then this request is scheduled to go to the June 11th Board of County Commissioners hearing at 9:30. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cord. Board members, do you have any questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll move to the applicant. Is the applicant present?
The applicant is online.
All right, does the applicant wish to give a presentation?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please
Yes.
state your name and address before beginning.
Yes. Took Tree Cow, and the address is 4940 41st Street, Avenue North, St. Petersburg, Florida 33709.
All right, you have 20 minutes if you wish to use it all.
Well, I just, as presented, just purchased the property and then just want to convert it to residential to intend to as a residential, but that's all.
All right. Thank you very much. Board
Thank you.
members, any questions for the applicant? Seeing none? Move
No.
to- Oh, you're okay. I don't think we have any questions for you at this time, so just stand by.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have any members of the public in the room who wish to speak in support of application ZON 24-02? Seeing none, do we have anyone online who wishes to speak in support of application ZON 24-02? All right,
No additional participants online.
thank you. Do we have anyone in the room who wishes to speak in opposition to application ZON 24-02? Seeing none, do we have anyone online?
No changes.
All right, thank you. Board members, any final questions for the applicant or staff? Seeing none, at this time I'll entertain a motion on application ZON 24-02.
Move approval per staff recommendation.
Motion by Cueva,
Second?
second by Cataldo. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. All right. Staff, do you have any final remarks before we go into adjournment?
No, I actually don't think that we have any cases now for the June 12th LPA, so, because they're not being deferred, so.
All right. Council McAteer, anything?
No additional comments.
All right, then I guess I will see everyone in July, and I hope you all have a happy and safe start to your summer. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. The motion passes unanimously.